Hey guys, welcome back to the Fryday Podcast. I'm RJ. He's not here today, sorry. But today we have from an award-winning, I didn't get that right. From IT consultant to an award-winning entrepreneur. How are you? Manisha. How's things?
Good, thank you.
It's nice to see you.
And you?
How long's it been?
22 years.
22 years,
Yeah.
God. So normally what we do is we like to take it back. We like to take it all the way back. So where were you raised? Where were you from?
So raised actually all over the place.
Yeah.
Born in Leicester by accident. Then in Manchester up until I was 9.
No.
Then we relocated to London. And then I was in London till I was 18.
Whereabouts in London?
North London.
North London?
North London, yeah. So we were Elstree, so where they record EastEnders, so the Elstree studios.
Oh, nice.
So we kind of got, we did see a lot of celebrities. So my parents owned a shop in Elstree, so our shop was pretty much a mile away from the studios, and it used to be the pitch stop for all of the celebrities looking for directions.
Oh, wow.
So we got to kind of grow up with that. We had Top of the Pops. At the age of, I think about 11, I was in Grange Hill. Do you remember Grange Hill?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, God, you're in Grange Hill?
I was in Grange Hill as an extra. Because again, our school was in the area, so the BBC would always come to, or Pinewoods and all of those, they used to come to our schools and ask for people to volunteer. There was one episode we were in EastEnders, and then Top of the Pops was always, everybody wanted to be on Top of the Pops as part of the crowd, but that was just that was a wait list, so I never made it to that one. And then obviously Big Brother came as well, so all of that's recorded there. But yeah, when I was 18, I then decided to come back to Leicester and do my degree.
So how did you get from being an IT consultant to what you're doing now? What made you take that leap to, go forward and decide to...
So when I left school, I did want to go into like the beauty industry and all that kind of stuff. And with my upbringing, I came from a very strict upbringing.
Yeah.
Also, I was the eldest in the household, in my house, but also in the family unit on my mom's side and my dad's side. So it was very much, I had to kind of be the leader. So anything that I did, I had to do it by the books, because obviously I had all my siblings, I had all my cousins underneath
Coming
me.
from an Asian background.
Yeah,
you get that taboo.
So it was very much, if I put a foot wrong, it would kind of come back on me later on if the others did the same.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a big responsibility. So I was always brought up that way. So I kind of put the beauty side to side and thought, I need to go and do something, get myself an education, or not I don't want to say a proper education, but something that's recognised, and that would be accepted. Again, just coming back from an Asian culture, everybody wants you to be a doctor, a solicitor, a lawyer, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I thought I'm going to have to do something along those lines. Did my A-levels, did all of that, and then I thought at that time IT was very up and coming. Business was great to have, because no matter what you choose to do in life, business is good acumen to have behind you.
Good acumen to have, 100%.
So I thought, let's go into IT to then have like the best of both worlds. Came to Leicester and then did my degree, and it was a 4-year degree, which I had to do 2 years at university, and then 1 year placement. Obviously that's when we met.
Gosh.
And then so again in that year break, I had to kind of do a placement work experience thing in a business of some sort.
And you landed in Sanjay.
So I landed myself with Sanjay Foods, which is great, because again I met you.
Oh yeah.
I met my husband.
Yeah.
So there's quite a lot that went on there. So and also with Atul, he was at the beginning of his story as well.
Yeah,
at
it
the
was.
same time.
Yeah, 100%.
So it was nice to kind of learn from him at that point, because I was 20 at the time, and learning, how to build a business.
I remember I was scared of you back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you apply that drive to everything you've done?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. It shows.
I think I grew up quite quickly.
Yeah.
In that year, really fast, just because it was kind of like you were thrown in the deep end. And in a way, I thought it was like PA, as well as, you know, I was in the office space working with the orders, dealing with you guys. So again, it was customer focused. But then when it then converted into like the actual event on the day,
there's a lot of stress.
I had to then kind of make sure you guys had all the right information to go and deliver that event.
God, yeah.
And, you know, hats off, like being an event coordinator now in this day and age there's a lot of work involved. You know, you got to please your customers and things. So yeah, I grew up very, very quickly in that.
Yeah, I don't know how people could do that. I genuinely do not know how people could actually do that. Like, thinking back at all the little components that have to go together to make the event go right.
Yeah.
Whew.
I mean, we were a good team though.
Yeah, no, we were a good team.
We were strong, and then I think like you have to have that solid work ethics. Everybody got to be on the same hymn sheet. You know, I know you said like sometimes I was strict with you.
Yeah.
But we delivered.
Yeah, no,
you know
we did.
I mean? And to be fair, we did have fun as well.
I remember there's NEC events as well. They
were the great, the Birmingham Mela.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And all of that. And again, working with Otto, he was strict, but at the same time, he let us have fun. You know, he knew like when the job was done, he literally let us.
We had jokes. We jokes.
It was good.
Some good memories,
and then doing long hours, it didn't really bother us because I guess we all became a bit of a family as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. That's how it felt. You know, it felt like a little unit.
Yeah, so obviously that happened for a year. Then I went back to uni, did my degree, got a 2-1 with that. Literally my final year, I worked solid because I knew that I needed to get a decent grade. And my first 2 years, I did kind of lack a little bit. You know, everyone does at uni, you know, just like have fun.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, I need to now get this degree. Got my 2-1. I then moved back to London after graduating, and I was in London for...
Did you miss that London life?
No.
You didn't miss the London life?
No, and we'll come back to that.
Okay,
but
all right.
Because a lot of people do ask me that. Even now, as soon as I tell people I'm originally from London, they're like, oh my God, how did you move to Leicester? And like, who gives up London for Leicester? And I don't have that It's weird. I'll explain why.
Okay, all right, fair. I get that.
But no, I don't have that one. I don't have that need for London. But then when we moved back to London, and I was sending out CVs as you do once you graduate, and I was in London for 4 months. I think it was about 4 months, and I got a interview for an IT consultancy role. And it was in Northampton, Kettering, so an IT consulting company, and went for the interview. An interview that was supposed to last half an hour ended up lasting about 2 hours, and I was interviewed by both MDs of the company. Literally said, look, you're straight out of uni, you're kind of like our protocol. We could literally gel you into what we want you to be. They said your brain's a sponge, basically. So
like a blank canvas sort of.
No bad habits. No, and because you've just come out of uni, you're kind of like you're still in that learning phase.
Yeah.
That anything like you could read a book and you'd learn it. You'd just absorb it.
I get that.
Do you know what I mean? So they saw that in me, and they're like, do you know what? We want to kind of mold you into this IT consult. Said, yep, no problem. So got that job, and I thought I don't want to commute from London to London to Kettering.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me move back to Leicester.
Okay.
At that point, I was still in a relationship with now my husband, but we were still dating then. So it gave me a chance to still see him.
I still remember now. Now it clicks. It kind of I remember when you two got together at work. Yeah. I remember all of that secrecy. I remember. Okay, now it's all kind of.
It's all coming together.
It's all coming back now. I remember it.
Yeah, pretty much. So I used to joke with Otto. We said your slogan should be "Where love stories start." He never took it on.
You know what? It should be. It should be.
Well, I think it was
Otto, if you're listening.
Or where the journeys of love, something like that. We did something really corny, and he literally just looked at us and just went, "Get out."
God. That's mad. That's crazy.
But so I thought, let me relocate to Leicester. So I lived with my grandparents, who were in Syston at the time.
Yeah.
commuted from to my IT job, and just literally built up in the IT industry. And then I came to I hit a wall in the IT industry because of my age. I couldn't progress any further. And is the IT market predominantly dominated by more male? Yeah.
I thought that.
Male, white, and pretty much it's like you have loads of ages. It's literally from young to old, and quite. I don't want their minds think differently to ours.
Yeah.
Very lacking social skills. Not lacking social skills, but they're very quiet. They're very introverted.
Very reserved.
Yeah, very reserved.
Yeah, I get that.
Well, obviously, I'm the opposite. To that.
I wonder if you had said, you know what, this person's IT, I would never ever pin that job on you. Yeah. When you said that to me, I was quite shocked.
Yeah. And so I specialize in IT service management.
Okay.
So that's what my role was. So I used to go into companies and kind of implement service desks. So not help desk, service desks.
Okay.
Where it's literally bringing the IT side and the business side together. So I had top clients like Land Registry, National Lottery, European Central Bank, Allied Irish Bank.
Oh, wow.
I had made even Home Office. I remember when I used to go to the Home Office, I used to get searched. I wasn't allowed my mobile phone on me. My laptop used to get taken off me.
Yeah.
They literally used to give me a little pen drive to use to do my presentation. And again, I had to email my presentations over literally a day before I was going to their offices, so they could then upload it onto their servers, just so there's no corruption. But
what?
Absolutely mental, the stuff that you had to go through. So again, that's like
crazy.
The London life type of thing. And then so to progress in the industry, you had to be in the industry for 5 years in order to get to like management.
So were you just coasting at this point?
Yeah. So I got to a point.
Coasting.
Yeah, I got to a point. I thought, okay, what do I do? And Northampton Uni launched a master's in IT service management,
right,
which I then put together a proposal with my MD and said, look, let me do this, because I said it would literally overwrite the management side, and I'll be higher than anything. He took it on. He said they even paid for it. So they'll go, we'll sponsor you. You go and do the master.
You must have been good at what you do if they did that.
Yeah, they were literally like they were pushing. They said, fair. Do what you need to do.
That's good of them. That's really good of them to do.
And I think because they could see my clientele base as well. They said if I had this on me, we'd bring more in as well. So I said, yeah, fine. Did it over 2 years because I was doing it part time. So I carried on working full time. In my first year of doing the masters, so I was working full time, do the masters, and that's when my husband proposed to me as well.
No.
So we had like a wedding to plan as well.
Wow.
So you can imagine in that first year, it was stressful because I thought, oh my God, I've got so much on my plate. And on top of that, traveling to meet clients as well.
You've got it all going on all at one time.
And my clients were abroad. They weren't just in the UK. So I had clients in Germany, Dublin, so literally in and out, and as well as, like I said, planning a wedding, and I was living in Leicester. So weekdays would be work, uni 3 times a week, going to my in-laws to do wedding planning with them. Then Friday night, shoot down to London to spend the weekend doing wedding planning on that side. It was getting too much. And I remember it was May.
Yeah.
Or was it? Could be about April, May time. And I went to see my dean at uni. And I said, look, I don't want to sit the exams. Like, I'm so exhausted. I don't have time to revise. I don't want to sit the exams. And she looked at me and literally went, unless you're in hospital dying, you'll sit in those exams. And I still remember driving home that night.
That's pressure.
Crying, because I thought, now I've got to add revision I've got exams coming. Because again, I was trying to say, can I do the retakes in August? And she was like, no.
Do you think it's too much pressure on students nowadays? Because obviously, if there was someone else like in your position right now, that's obviously doing what they're doing, do you think it's too much pressure, looking back on it?
I think when that happened, there was. But I felt, after I did the exams, this is where it kind of made me think, because when I did the exams, I got all A's.
There you go.
So she called me back into the office and she went, "This is why I made you do it." She goes, "I knew you were capable." So I feel, there's a lot of pressure, but I don't feel lecturers or teachers or deans or anyone are going to push you unless they know you can do it. And sometimes you need that push. And it's kind of like saying they can see something that we can't at that time because we're so bombarded or, everything's starting to get a bit cloudy. You don't see the end tunnel. And somebody else has to point that out to you or push you to it. So I'm so grateful to her.
Your visions can get cloudy, obviously, when you put into a pressurous situation.
Yeah. So she pushed me. I did it. Then literally we got married that same year. So July we got married, and then obviously had the summer.
Where was my invite?
Pardon?
Where was my invite?
Do you know? I don't know. Had that awkward moment.
So I catch you off guard there.
So again, we had our Indian wedding in London, we had our civil in Leicester, and then we had our reception in Coventry.
Oh, nice.
So we were literally all over the place, and this was over 2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh wow. What made you want to do all over, like everything, families and
London? Because I was originally from London.
Okay, fair.
So all my family were there.
All right.
Leicester because obviously Sham's family are here. And Coventry because we couldn't find a venue big enough to accommodate 1,000 people.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
yeah, room for 1,000 people and not me.
Exactly. I know. I know. I feel so bad now.
Yeah. No.
Well, we're gonna have to do a reunion.
100%. We are.
So we were literally all over the place.
Yeah.
Then we fast forward a little bit. We went back to work, done my masters. I got distinction.
Yeah.
As well.
Smashed it.
Massive promo won it all. So because I was first in the world to get the masters.
What?
Yeah, first in the world. So
in the world.
So in the IT industry. So,
that's crazy. Well done.
Thank you.
What an achievement. That's mad.
And again, a distinction as well. So you can imagine my MDs were just over the moon. And there was a massive promo over it. Even my MDs came to my graduation, along with obviously my family and everything.
Oh, wow. That must have been mad.
I was in magazines. So I was in the Support World magazine. I don't know if that's still a big magazine now in the IT world. I've not been in the IT world for 17 years, but
we're going to talk about that in a minute because I'll talk about all these accolades and then.
So we were literally. So I was in the magazine. I've still got the article at home actually. And then just got on with life as normal. And then we were blessed. I fell pregnant with my first child, and that's when the world was turned upside down because it was very much up because my company knew I couldn't fly after 7 months.
Okay.
So for a good few months, I was literally flying. I was in Germany for 3 days. The company would then fly me into. And
at this time, there was no Zoom or anything like that, or good Teams or nothing.
No, nothing like that. No. And again, when I had in Germany, I had European Central Bank.
Okay.
So they're huge. They're the people that deal with the euros.
Yeah.
They dictate all the currency and all that kind of stuff. So, and again, when you work in a place like Germany, you're in a room not full of Germans. You're full of the French, the Italians, the Germans. There are literally so many different backgrounds in that room. So for me, I had to kind of consult, but not just consult from a level that I'm there to help them with the business. There was internal politics between their countries as well. So I'd be pulled aside by the Italians and going, "Oh, don't listen to them. Don't do this. We don't like the French."
Is it proper like that when?
Proper. It was. I don't even know. I've got to be still like that. But yeah, you had all these kind of. And I think I'm not here to babysit. I'm here to deal with the job. If I've given you a task to do, it needs to be done, and I'll put you on the project as that task. And you'd have people, and when you're there for a few days, you'd have the Germans trying to take you out, you'd have the Italians trying to take you out, because they're all trying to sweet talk you into getting things to kind of go their way.
Yeah.
And you're oh my god. So that was exhausting. And obviously being pregnant at the same time, you're I can't deal with this.
Yeah, I was just about to say you had all of this going on, and is that what made you want to make the change? And how did you make the change from being such a great IT consultant with all of these qualifications and everything to now doing makeup? And
so
how?
I think, well, I know it was about, I didn't want to be in a position I didn't see my child grow up. I thought, I don't want to be one of those where I have to rely on help, rely on nurseries, and see my child when I'm around. I couldn't deal with that. I just felt, sorry, I get really emotional.
No, go on. Talk about it.
It was, that wasn't for me anymore.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I understand there's a lot of pressure. I mean, especially when you work in a high-pressured role.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have that, care or love for something like a child or nothing. It's scary. That care, that love scares me a little bit, because obviously whatever you do, you have to sacrifice something.
Yeah. And
how was that?
It was hard. I didn't want to. I kind of like, obviously Cham's really supportive, so we kind of talked about it and said, this is how I'm feeling. I don't want to carry on doing what I'm doing. Because even again, coming back to where you said, do you miss the London life? I didn't, because I had clients in London, and I'd get on the train at 6 o'clock in the morning, go down to London, do my meetings and everything. And it was just like, I just found it really strange where, like, at lunchtime, they'd all be in the pub. Yeah. And then they'd go back to the office, and then at the end of the day, back in the pub. And I'd be like, I need to get home to my family. I feel, I want to, and don't get me wrong, the London lifestyle's great and stuff, but when you've got responsibilities and, a family waiting for you at home, I was very much, I need to get home.
Some people do get stuck in that vicious cycle though, constantly.
And it's very, like, socially draining, I found. I was drained from it. So I have no idea how people actually in it felt. And I was just, no, that's not me. And then I made the decision. I thought, you know what? I want to go into makeup. I've been wanting to do it for years. From a very young age, let's do it. And, there were you get those subconsciously, like, those questions in your head, like, but what if it fails? What if, you make the wrong mistake or the wrong decision? And I always thought, well, I've got my career to go back to. I've built it so
You've got a great safety net to fall back on.
And I thought, let's just do it. So I remember
Question, how does someone get for something they really like makeup? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that like doing it, females, like, love doing makeup, but don't know how to get into doing it professionally. Yeah. How do you do that?
So I run an academy now from that.
Exactly, smashing it.
Yeah, thank you.
Smashing it fully.
I run the academy, and again, when the academy came together, it was literally from years and years of research.
Okay.
My own experience from when I went looking for courses and what I learned on courses. Obviously, we'll come to where I worked for Mac as well for 10 years.
That's smashed it.
And again, just working with the brand and getting an understanding of what the lack was in the real world.
Do you think you would have got more of knowledge of the market if you went from, let's say, from Mac to other companies as well, like Estee Lauder, for example, or some other cosmetic companies? You think you probably would have got it?
I think as an individual, it's what you take away from it.
Yeah.
So when with Mac, I got headhunted by them.
Okay.
Worked with them. They just found me they literally got a phone call one day, said, we've seen your work, would you be interested in working for us? I thought it was a scam, a hoax or whatever. I thought, that's a bit strange, I've never heard that. And they said, look, we're looking for somebody, Leicester's your nearest location, would you be interested? And we'll give you, like, we need somebody for about 2 days. And I thought, that worked perfect. And at that time, I was still going through the transition from IT into makeup. So I thought, it'll be great to do something like that. And I remember they called me in for an interview and sat down, and they literally, this guy that was standing in, still remember his face. Unfortunately, he's passed away now. But I still remember he sat in front of me and he said, the scope of this job's changed. We now need somebody for 4 days. So straight away I shut that down. I said, I can't offer you that.
You can't do that.
I said, I can only do, I've got other commitments. So he was literally like, do you know what? I'm here. Let's just interview. You might as well use a practice. Thought, fair enough. He interviewed me, literally said, I really like you. I'm going to go find you a job. And I was literally like, okay, who is this guy? I've just come for an interview.
Exactly, do you know what I mean?
No idea who you are, but I was like, okay, fine.
Why not?
Yeah.
Cool.
later on, I found out that he was one of the business development managers for the brand,
sick.
and he was just visiting the store that day, and he just thought he was sitting on my interview.
Do you know what that back then it used to be like? I remember headhunting, street fighting, getting the business. I miss that. You can't do that no more.
No, now I think you're just a number.
I know. I got headhunted from Phones for You to Car Phone House. I miss that. And you know what? Like you just don't hear about things like that.
You're not. I don't think you're valued enough. Anymore.
No,
and
not.
So they kind of like. So he came back. They came up with a job proposal, and it was like, we want to offer you an associate position, which basically you freelance for Mac. I don't know if this position still exists, but so I was supposed to cover Nottingham and Leicester, but because Leicester was so busy, they just kept me at the Leicester base. And it would literally, like, the management would ring me, say, can you do this date, this date, this date? I could turn them down, or I could say, yeah, I could do that one, can't do that one, can do this one. And then that was pretty much how it became. And I did that for a year. So a year with IT and then a year with Mac. And then it just got to a point where, do you know what? I love working for Mac. I'm going to quit IT completely.
So you're at the crossroads.
Yeah. And that's where I kind of thought, you know what? I'm at a position now, I can do it. But I needed to, because I was a freelance for Mac, I needed to secure a job, as in secure a full-time position with Mac before I did the transition. They offered me a full-time Leicester base, and that's when I went to IT and handed in my notice. They gave me, it was a 3-month notice period.
Yeah.
And
how was that?
Painful.
That must have been painful handing in
I broke my MD's heart. Literally, he avoided me for the whole notice period. So I managed to negotiate with HR from 3 months to 1 month. I said, let me go after a month, because I said, I'm customer facing. It's not fair on the customers that I'm still carrying on my relationship with them. I said, give me the month to do my handovers with whoever's going to take over my position. And then that's it. I can leave. But for that entire month, my MD avoided me. Literally would not come in my office. Would not just like, so I knew he was heartbroken. Then I remember on my very, very last day, he took me out for lunch. Literally walked into my office and said, "Can I take you for lunch?" And I was like, "Yep." And we went to a local pub, sat there, and he literally said to me, "What can I do to change your mind?" And I was literally like thrown by that. I thought, oh my God, and I'm already in that transition into makeup.
You're already transitioning.
Yeah,
you're already buzzing. You're already looking at the next job.
I've already secured my job with Mac.
That's it.
And he was literally like, what can I do? Like, literally, what can I do to stop you?
It wasn't even the fact that you weren't even happy in that job.
No.
So that you can't.
It wasn't even that. And he did hurt me, because I said to him, obviously his name was Don. I said, Don, you've avoided me for an entire month. And now you're coming to me to say, what can I do to stop you from going? And he was just like, well, and I said, look, and then he did ask, because what is your plans? And I point blank lied. Literally, because I thought, oh my God, this guy, because I needed to say something. I didn't want him to hold me to it. So I literally said,
I was going to say, what were your family saying? Like, what was everyone saying? What was the whole...
I didn't care. Long as my husband supported me, I didn't
love
care.
that.
I didn't care. It was literally like, long as my husband's got my back, everybody around it, it didn't matter. Because at the end of the day, what I'm doing is for my family unit. Do you know? So any decisions I make is going to implicate my husband, my child. So I needed to make sure the decisions I was doing were okay with them, and that's kind of all I needed.
And so obviously you were with Mac for 10 years.
10 years, yeah. So with them, I became their product specialist.
Yeah.
So with Mac, you can go 2 directions. You can go up the management ladder, or you can go up the artistic ladder. I tried management. Every time I went for management, so whether it was assistant manager, I'd always get to the final 2. Like, always got to the final 2, and the other person would get it. And I was just like, I had the credentials to do the job.
You've been my manager, and you've been a very good manager.
Thank you.
you should have had that back. You should have had that role.
And I just thought, you know what? If I'm not good enough for Mac, as in on the management side, I'm going to do it myself. And that's where I then started building my own personal empire. So my studio, where I would then take on bookings, where I started to build on my freelance, build on my bridal side. Academy came later. At this point, the academy wasn't there.
And what year did you start?
Academy was born in 2018.
2018. And when did you decide you want to go independent?
2018.
2018. So that was
2018.
Okay.
It was I literally what
that's when COVID hit, right?
Well, year before. So COVID hit end of 2019, and then 2020 we shut down. But what made me leave Mac was I went to my area manager and I asked, can I do a masterclass, a Mac masterclass, obviously under Mac, but with my name.
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, sure, we'll leave it to you. You do whatever you want to do. So May of that year of 2018, I put it all together to do a Asian bridal masterclass. We were only expecting to sell 10 tickets. Literally, that was all it was. It was like, yeah, do 10 tickets and job done. I literally got sponsors involved. So I had Arinda Bulla, she sponsored the outfit.
Shit, sick.
I got Nim's Boutique to sponsor the jewelry. I got Sana Foods to sponsor food. I had professional photographers. I had Smiling Occasions. He was doing all the photography, videography. So I had people coming on that day for free as sponsors to kind of do everything. I was on BBC Leicester that day promoting the masterclass. So again, everyone was knowing about it. The fact that we only had 10 tickets, we ended up selling 48.
Wow.
And had a wait list. Literally had a wait list for people wanting to get on this masterclass. We had to shut down Mac when the masterclass started. So we had security, Debenham security, putting up bollards all the way around the Mac counter just for health and safety because we had that many people there. The masterclass kicked off at 6 p.m. to finish at 5:30 it kicked off to finish at 7:30. Obviously Debenhams closed at 8. We still had the whole crowd in Debenhams up until about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Whole of security, like we had to shut down. Obviously they shut down the store as crazy. Normal at 8 o'clock. But nobody could cash up. So obviously, like working in retail, you can't cash up until the last person.
You've got to do end of day and all
of that. Yeah. So our floor, which is obviously the beauty floor, all the other concessions were literally like, you could get that evil eye and then you could stare like thinking, oh my God, we can't cash up until all these people are gone. And we couldn't kick them out as well because they were spending.
Yeah.
They were literally like, I had the Debenhams manager on our tills and even all Debenhams staff trying to do the transaction. They're like running to grab products or what. It was like a supermarket sweep pretty much. Like, what do people want? Get them out. And like, it was an absolute success. Like we just smashed it. And that's when I realized, and I thought, I can do this on my own. I can literally walk away, and it gave me a feel for it. And I thought, I've done this, and I got recognition from the area manager. She said, you know what, you spent the money you took that night in 2 hours was ridiculous. And I thought, well, I've managed to do that.
That's mad.
And it was off my own back. I went with an idea, and it worked.
So from that success, obviously doing something completely different to obviously what just completely jumping away from Mac. How did that leap happen? Like,
I started to notice I was losing money working for Mac.
Okay.
Because I'd have to turn away work because I was on the rota for Mac, and I was like, So you built up enough of a portfolio to obviously get a customer base. Fair enough. Yeah, and that's when I realised. I thought, you know what, I made that decision to leave, and I thought I could. With businesses, you get to a point you either stand still or you grow. If you're going backwards, you're doing something horribly wrong, right? And that's how I looked at it. I thought, well, if I've achieved this, doing it part-time, what could I potentially achieve doing it full-time? And that's where I looked. That's what kind of gave me that drive. And I thought, well, the only way I could go backwards is if I just stopped doing everything. stop giving like good customer service, stop promoting myself, stop learning, then you're going to go backwards. But I was at a position where I knew what I was doing. And the fact with Mac as well, I mean, like working for Mac was a great achievement because I took away a lot. Like I'll never begrudge that 10-year journey because it did give me a lot. It had its ups and downs. There was roller coasters, people you work with, late hours. There was loads of little niggly bits that made the job a bit more dark, I guess. But at the same time, it was still.
What are the dark sides to working in makeup? What would you say?
It's a very catty industry.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Very, very. It was very competitive, and there was a lot of talking behind your back, lots of accusations. So, I used to hear stories about myself that used to make me laugh, actually used to make me cry as well. And you'd be like, where's that come from? Or, where's the actual start of that story?
And do you think that is working in a very female dominant market?
Yeah. Because remember, I went from a very male dominated industry.
Did you find any of that in the male dominated industry? No. So comparing, nothing at all.
No. You just went in, got on with the job, and that was it. Where going from a transition from male to female, there was a lot more you had to deal with, and it wasn't just the job; it was the emotions as well. Like with me, I was very much go do my job, go home. I wasn't into the we're all going for drinks after work. Do you want to come? Or we're planning a meal. Do you want to do? And it wasn't the fact that I was trying to be antisocial. Yeah. It was more the fact that I want to go home to my children.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I want to go home and if I need to pick them up from nursery, then I need to go and do that. For me, I wanted to be at home with them, and I remember my son. He was 5 at the time, and he literally again this gets to me. He literally goes, "Mummy," he goes, "do you not like us?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, Mummy, when we're at school, you're at home. But when we're at home, you're at work."
Oh,
and it absolutely killed me. And I just thought, a 5-year-old has literally just looked at and what was going on there was, obviously working for Mac, you need to be there on the weekends. So my children...
That's their busiest time.
Yeah, so...
They're going to rotate you in a weekend regardless.
So you would be working on a Saturday and a Sunday, and you would... and obviously you'd have the weekdays off, but your kids are at school, so they don't see... But they know you're at home. So literally, that week, I wrote the longest letter to my area manager and literally said... I need to change. I can't do this. And I wrote a letter going back into my IT kind of brain of how would I write this to get what I needed from a business perspective. And I wrote a 3-page, I've still got that letter, and I wrote a 3-page letter of what I wanted, how, and underneath for each point, how it would benefit the business, so Mac Cosmetics, by me doing this. And literally, I wanted to work 4 days a week, from 9:30 till 2:30, so school hours. I didn't want to work a Sunday, and I'd do one Saturday a month. And the Saturday that I do, I want to work from 2:30 to 7:30. So you can imagine everybody in retail right now thinking, nobody would ever say yes to that.
Shot it.
Because they're literally like, what do you mean?
No,
it's like, you're literally...
Yeah, that's it.
And I wrote this letter, and like I said, at each point...
I said that to my manager, you would have lost it.
There we go find another job.
Yeah, he'd be like, he'd write me a letter, and at the end of it, he'd be like, you're sacked.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it was unknown, not unheard for.
Yeah, especially in retail.
And I thought...
In Leicester at the time as well. Leicester was busy. Shires was a busy place.
Yeah. And and then I literally wrote this letter and sent it off, and I thought, right, all I can do is pray now. I was like, whatever happens, happens. And I got the letter back, and there was basically the letter of the date on the... So there's 2 dates in this letter. Right. And I didn't pick up on it at all. And I showed this letter to my mother-in-law. And she looked at it, and she straight away, those 2 dates, she literally was looking at it and she went, wow. And I said, what? And she went, nothing. She said, there's 2 dates on this letter that are very, very significant. And I went, okay. And then she says, the date the letter was written was the date of, my husband's grandma's death anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So that date was on there, and the other one was Sai Baba's birthday, which is obviously today. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Yeah, so those 2 dates are on there. So my mother-in-law literally said to me, she goes, you've got the blessing already. She goes, the fact those dates are on your letter, she goes, you're going to walk into this meeting. She goes, I can't see it being any other
Negative,
way.
Yeah.
So it was kind of gave me that, well, okay, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
And I literally walked into this meeting with my area manager, and she literally said, Manisha, we've never received a letter like yours. And because obviously I bullet pointed all the reasons it would help their business. And she goes, I can't even argue any of them. She said, yeah, here, have it. And she literally signed it off.
Crazy.
And it
was
just
unheard of in those times.
It was absolutely unheard of. And then I carried on working like that for 4 years. So this then took me up to 2018, and then I left. So it's been a very emotional roller coaster.
So, obviously, I know that you're talking about being in the male industry, being in the male-dominated industry, and being in a female-dominated industry. Now you're choosing to work with females.
Yeah.
At their most stressful point.
Yep.
Why? Tell us about it.
Do you know, I've been in the wedding industry now 17 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, we started when I was with you as well, when we did
I
Sanjay
remember
Foods.
that. Yeah.
So I've seen so many different sides to the wedding industry. And at the end of the day, bride just wants her perfect day. That's all she wants.
She don't want to bring it, but she might become bridezilla when she was doing it. Do you know what I mean? So it scares me. I've seen some brides go nuts.
Yeah. And I think
I'm good.
And touch wood, I haven't come across one yet.
Okay.
I've been really lucky. And if I do, or if I can see it's happening, I'm very quick to calm the situation down.
How do you calm a situation down?
You read between the lines. You've got to kind of understand why they're feeling the way they are.
How do you normally calm a woman down? Because I have difficulties in doing.
This about you now.
No. I'm sure a lot of the viewers will probably have the same problem. What's the way to calm a woman down? What's the best way?
I mean, you don't. So one thing that I've picked up on.
You speak softly.
Softly, yeah. I was going to say, you don't go in at the same kind of high pitch and tone. You have to bring it down. It's like, okay.
So whatever tone they're at, you bring it down.
Bring it down.
Cool.
Because straight away it calms them down.
Okay.
Because again, if you go in at the same tone that they're at, you're just going to keep heightening. And the thing is, it's not even a bridezilla moment with you. It's a bridezilla moment with a situation of whatever's going on.
Okay.
Luckily, I've not experienced it, but I have. I mean, during COVID, for example, I went through obviously postponed weddings, a lot of postponed weddings. So that's kind of not. I wouldn't call them bridezillas. I would call them stressed brides, because their whole wedding planning was falling apart. They could no longer have their wedding.
Yeah.
They had contracts that they had signed with all different suppliers. Quite a few suppliers were playing up, saying, well, we've had to postpone your wedding, but you're going to have to pay full price next year or whenever you then. So there was a lot of that going on. So I would then get phone calls of brides really upset, saying, oh, I don't know what to do. This has happened. The venues have said this to me. The decor have said this to me.
You've kind of advised them more than anything.
Exactly.
What to do, keeping them safe. And keeping their nerves.
And then with mine, I was like, you could tell in their voice they were very worried of how they were going to approach me to say, I've postponed the wedding. You can't have. I was like, it is what it is. It's like, end of the day, there's nothing you can do.
It's out of your control.
Yeah, it's out of everyone's control. It's not like they're cancelling on me. We physically can't have a wedding. So you kind of then had to put that kind of calming hat on, and also be quite humane. You got to bring humane into it. You've got to you've got to kind of look at it from their perspective. We're all going through it, and money's money. Like, money can come and go, but it's people's health that were at risk.
Okay, I get that. How do you, if a bride comes to you with a certain look, saying, hey, I want to look like this, but you're like, and I can imagine you'd be like,
no,
it's not happening. How do you get that a lot? Or no? Like, oh, look, okay, that's not going to work for you.
You get the
I'm
odd
going to
ones,
do this.
But I would never use that word. This is not going to work for you.
I think it's your word selection as well. You've got to be very, very careful.
Absolutely.
I'm very pretty blunt.
Yeah. As soon as you use that word, they're going to come back at you. Well, why not? What's wrong with it? And they want it more, right? Because it's just like when you're with kids, you tell them not to do something, they go and do it more. But if you explain to them why not to do it, they're like, okay, fair enough, won't do it. Do you see what I mean? So you kind of got to use that kind of thinking with
I'm learning a little bit now.
So if they came to me with a look, and I know it's not going to work or it's not going to look great on them, I'd literally say, what do you like about it? As soon as you say that, what do you like about this look? You're now you've put the ball back in their court to identify what it is. And they could be like, do you know what? Actually, it's I only like the lips.
Yeah.
Or like maybe like the skin. I was like, okay. Anything else? No, it's actually, I like the skin and the lips. So you've taken a look that they've come to me say, and I already know it's not going to look good, but now I think, okay, well, she likes the skin and she likes the lips. That means that could potentially work. And then you go dig deeper to, okay, what about the eyes? And then you can, and then I can say, shall I give you my thoughts? And then they're like, yeah, go for it. I said, well, I think, you're right. The skin's really nice. That colour the lip colour would really suit you. Yeah. But with the eyes, I think it's quite dark on the picture. Yeah. And I feel like if we do that on you, we're going to really close your eyes down. So let's use some brighter, like brighter tones and golds and things to open up your eye.
Yeah.
When you start using language that they understand, and that the fact you're actually helping them, they're putting you like hands.
That's crazy.
But again, that comes from expertise of years and years of me doing this. But also, I've had to learn to do constructive criticism. And
I know you're fully booked. I know you're completely fully booked. And you've even seen it, no space on the diary. So when is your next free appointment? If someone wants to get work done by you, when's your next free appointment?
Don't know. I'd have to check the diary. But it would literally, I do try and fit people in where I can.
Okay, so.
Yeah. But like right now we're in, like wedding season has now come to an end officially.
Yeah.
So now at the moment I'm focusing on a lot of the academy. Yeah. The academy is pretty much fully booked with training, and then beginning of the year we move into, so the whole cycle of a year in the wedding industry is quite crazy. So we don't have downtime or quiet moments. And now, so from like January to March, that's where not just myself, but everybody in the wedding industry are doing all their promos, all their advertising, doing wedding fairs, all of that kind of stuff to kind of get ready for your 25, 26 brides.
And if someone wanted to become like a part of the academy, how do they do that?
Just go on the website.
Yep.
And we have a form specifically for the academy. Which are the key details that we need, and then we'll send them all the information.
Oh, we'll put up the link on our Instagram page and everything as well, so we know we've got some female followers that may want to do it. You never know, but honestly, I think that's what we've got time for. But honestly, then we'll run through the sponsors. We've got a few, 6 of them now. So give me a second. So we've got Man-Made Barbers each and every time, every week. Chili Guys, Gypsy Lane Chippery, RS Glass and Glazing, Flexi Car Hire, and FAK Flooring. And it's a wrap for this week. And thank you so much to our guest, Manisha, for taking the time out to come to us. It's lovely seeing you again. We've got to do a reunion soon.
Yes.
Yeah? Thank you guys very much. And that's a wrap.
Thank you.